From CONCACAF to CONMEBOL, Brazil and Argentina face off in tomorrow night's World Cup Qualifier without Neymar Júnior, no Lionel Messi. They're both out due to their respective injuries. Argentina coming off a 1-0 win against Uruguay, while Brazil beat Colombia 2-1, hoping to snap a 4-game winless streak against the Albiceleste. Raphinha, though, says they're going to dominate the match. I'm sure he's willing to bet on that. That'll take us into our next segment. But first, let's take a look at the numbers between these two teams. Historically, obviously, it's the biggest clásico when it comes to CONMEBOL. Argentina, though, seeking to become the first to win back-to-back World Cup qualifying matches in the rivalry, as I just mentioned. Brazil trying to snap that 4-match winless streak. That's the longest streak since 1990-1993. Argentina still leading the all-time head-to-head in all competitions with Brazil. And apparently our Ale Moreno is rooting for Brazil with the colors that he's wearing today. I'm willing to bet on that.
Whoa.
I'm willing.
To be honest, I didn't even know I was in the show until an hour ago, so there you go.
Or America, which one do you want? It's one or the other. All right.
Or UCLA, for that matter.
What, UCLA?
Yeah.
Could be. It is March Madness, so that actually would make a little sense. All right, let's take it to some friendly wagers here now between these two. Who do I want to start with? Ali, I'm going to start with you. Who is the better goalkeeper for you, Emiliano Martinez or Bento?
This is an actual question?
It's an actual question.
Okay, I'm not even going to give an argument. I'm not even going to present some sort of reason. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. It's not even close.
Okay.
Can we just change it to like most probable clean sheet? Because that's realistic here.
Okay,
I know.
So do I then change my pick or not?
No, this
okay,
is
no.
Don't let him produce the show.
No, I'm just saying, to make it a little bit, I guess, fair. Like Bento, what? He's got 3 games in the national.
You do you, Herc. It's your show.
Oh, depends who you ask. Depends who you ask.
All right, Herc, who you got?
No, listen, I'm gonna take Emiliano Martinez Dibu as well. He's the best international goalkeeper today. Bento has 3 games with the national team. You may recognize him. He plays on Cristiano's team in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
But Argentina at home, I believe it's 11 clean sheets out of the last 12. It's hard to go against.
So let me see, you're producing this show, and then what you did was make it into a question in which could be used to back up your own stats and your own research.
I love when we analyze the question.
That's power, my friend.
Yeah, I love when we analyze the question and not actually answer the question.
I like the way Herc said it. You might recognize him for being the goalkeeper of Cristiano. Nobody recognizes him for being the goalkeeper of Cristiano Ronaldo's team. He's playing only because Alisson and Ederson are out. Ederson is out of the roster. He wasn't even part of the traveling squad. And Alisson, we all saw that horrific clash of heads. But this is one of the best goalkeepers in the world. And I want to add, when he's wearing the national team jersey, he transforms in this 100%. Even better goalkeeper than what we see at Aston Villa.
I see. It's such a valid point, and you didn't even have to change the question.
I did not. That's called experience on TV, man.
Good for you, Mom. All right, who will be more disruptive out of these three?
Now we're talking.
Go ahead, disrupt.
Mao.
Do I need to go
Yeah,
first?
you go first.
Go first.
Go ahead, man. Here you go.
It's gonna be Vini Jr. Because I love the word disruptive. He can be disruptive with his ability, with his skills, but also with his temper, the way he reacts to being provoked. This game is going to be played in Buenos Aires, Argentina, one of the most hostile environments in the world. So I want to see how Vini reacts to that. The game in terms of World Cup qualifying seeding is way more important for Brazil than for Argentina. Now, Argentina is going to take this to 100%. Thiago Almada scored a banger the other day against Uruguay. But definitely, in terms of disruption, Vini Jr. has the edge here.
Ale?
Look, Thiago Almada, tremendous talent. But in any category that you put Vini Jr. is Vini Jr. However you want to pick it, however you want to choose it, however you want to go on and explain it, disruption could be seen from many different angles. I look at it as who's going to have the biggest impact. And in order for Brazil to get anything out of this match, Vini has to have a big game. Had an impact against Colombia. I expect him to do the same. what Thiago Almada did against Uruguay, people were saying, Thiago Almada? Who? Yeah, Thiago Almada. Where is he from? What is he doing? Who is he playing? You're finding questions and answers about Thiago Almada because of the goal. You don't have to find questions and answers about Vini. You know who he is the moment he shows up on the field.
Sure.
Yeah, disruptive. They're leading the witness here. So it is going to be disruptive with anytime Vini Jr. is on the field. Let me just advocate really quick for Thiago Almada, ex-Major League Soccer, Atlanta United, Leon right now. He's got 7 games for the national team, like 249 minutes, 3 goals. A massive banger last game. He's got 1 goal in World Cup qualifying. I know we keep saying Vini, and Vini at the club level is something else. Vini with Brazil has left a lot to be desired, though he did put in his own deflected banger of his own. 1 goal World Cup qualifying, World Cup winner at home, Argentina.
Generally, I would understand where you're coming from with this argument, but this is not the week to make that argument about Vini because he actually was disruptive in the game against Colombia.
He's always disruptive.
He drew a penalty.
Yeah.
For the game winner. So I don't know that this is the week to actually say
he can be disruptive both ways. In favor of his team
good and bad, yes.
or against his own team. No other player has that dual quality like Vini does.
All right, let's take it to the next one, Mal. Thank you.
Ma'am.
Who is more likely to score, Julian Alvarez or Raphinha? Herc, I'm going to start with you on this one.
It's hard to bet against Raphinha these days. I mean, over 20 goals, 20 assists, all competitions. If the Ballon d'Or voting was today, this would be my pick. He's on a tear. You mentioned that Vini Jr. drawn PK. The perfectly slid-in ball was from Raphinha.
You hate Vini, man.
I love Vini. There is no bigger Vini supporter. I love Vini.
Even when Vini does something.
I love Vini.
Man.
Raphinha is on another level today. I love what Julian is doing, but it's so difficult to bet against Raphinha today.
It's true. It's true. Mal?
It's hard to bet against Julian Alvarez playing for the national team. I mean, not even the national team, even for Atletico de Madrid, Manchester City, River Plate, wherever he is, he makes an impact on every single game. Now, without Lautaro Martinez, without Lionel Messi, if Argentina is going to win at home, I don't imagine Argentina winning this game without a goal contribution by Julian Alvarez. The odds are what they are. Plus 230 Julian Alvarez, plus 360 for Raphinha. Massive season, yes, candidate to win Ballon d'Or, but Julian Alvarez, in terms just his ability to find spaces, the way this Argentina team plays, is just fantastic. So I'm gonna go with El Araña.
I'm gonna look at it from a perspective of what team is gonna create the most opportunities to score goals, because they're gonna need chances to score the goals. And so where is that gonna come from? You watch Brazil play, they have a really difficult time creating opportunities with any sort of consistency, especially and particularly away from home. I'm thinking there are going to be more chances for Julian Alvarez. I'm just going to play the odds and play the numbers and say, you know what? He's going to have more opportunities to score than Raphinha because Brazil will not create nearly as much as Argentina will.
Last time, betting purposes, right? Last time he overhit between these two, the 2.5, 10 years ago. It's either 1-0, 0-0, 1-0, 2-0. That's the way El Clásico Sudamericano.
So they'll both score.
Down recently. 1-0.
Penalties.
Exactly. There you go.
Could be.
Does Don Vegas speak English?
Yes, but with a very thick accent.
Okay. Well, tell him we want him here next time as well. I appreciate you sending his message. All right, last one then. We just talked about, obviously, the wagers betting. That's a bit different than what we actually think of the match. Ale, who's taking this one for you?
I'm gonna say Argentina. At home, there's a different personality to this group. And what I like the most about Argentina in their last match against Uruguay without Lionel Messi is the maturity with which they play the game. With emotion and intensity, but when it came to decision making, very calm, very professional, very mature. You cannot say the same thing about Brazil, because when things start going against Brazil and then Vini gets disruptive and now all of a sudden they lose control of the game itself, that's when Argentina thrives. I think Argentina at home, they win it 1-0, Julian Alvarez.
I love that we have Raphinha's picture right here for that matter. He poked the bear. He did what you're not supposed to do before a high-intensity game like this. He basically said, Cristina, you quoted him, we're going to destroy them.
Yeah.
And he said, on and off the field. So now, and this was just announced by the Argentina media, while the teams are walking up the field before kickoff, they are going to show highlights of the 2022 World Cup final. If Argentinian players needed any more motivation,
I love the mind games.
that's just creating a little something. So it matters now for the Argentinian players a little more because of what Raphinha said with Romario. I'm taking Argentina to win 1-0.
Kirk?
No, Argentina. Argentina's got more of a player pool right now. Brazil is depleted. They're on Bento, the third goalkeeper. Gabriel's going to be injured. They got a couple injuries or suspensions as well in the midfielders, up to 5 players missing.
No Guimaraes.
Yes. Argentina, even though there's no Messi, there's going to be no Nico Gonzalez or Lautaro, they've got enough to beat Brazil at home.
They just haven't been playing well.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Even in winning against Colombia, halftime of that match, they were being booed by their own fans.
Yeah.
After having been up in the game. Imagine how poor they were in the second part of that first half. Brazil, they got the 3 points against Colombia, but they're not playing well. In order to beat Argentina, you have to play well and you have to match the intensity and the fight. I don't know that Brazil has that in them.
Yeah, and this is a big match too. When we talk about World Cup qualifying purposes, we're going to take a look at the standings and how both of them come into this one. Argentina, yep, there it is, 28 points. Brazil, opportunity. Oh my God.
How many teams make it?
What do you mean, oh my God?
2030,
How many teams make it? Wait, how many teams
Vamos,
make it?
Venezuela. 6.5. Vamos, Venezuela.
All right, want to remind you.
Vamos, Venezuela.
This weekend, not Venezuela, but Barcelona facing Osasuna this Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern on ESPN+.
Got a little Venezuela
I can't hear out of my right ear. I wonder why.